Hey guys, Ronan Will. Alright, so this is episode 3 of Let's Paint Star Trek Characters. Ironically, this is the first episode actually I was recording. This character here is Chekov from Star Trek, the original series. So we start with some Necrocloak actually on his pants. It's funny because after this, I do not start with the pants. I actually start either with the shoes or with the base. Just because I like painting, I realize I like painting from bottom to top. So stuff I touch the least to stuff I touch the most. Ideally, I wouldn't be touching any of the paint. But I was dumb and I forgot I have a miniature holder. I also like being able to maneuver the miniatures like flip them around and stuff like that. Alright, so I am using some desert yellow. Like I said, this was the first attempt that I used, so I ended up, it goes on really thick, guys. And then later on, for Kirk, you noticed I added some flow improver. It basically liquefied the thick paint and makes it a lot way easier to coat these guys later on. Alright, so I think actually I decided to use some flow. Nope, I thought I was smart and switched over to flow improver. I was not. Anyway, so this is an interesting addition. He is one of the better known characters in Star Trek, but he actually was not from the original season. He is from the 1967 season, so the second season, and his first appearance is Amok Time. I don't really have that much information on him, considering I've never actually watched the series. Up to that point, like I've seen I've seen parts of the series. I'm just not up to this point where Chekov is involved. So I'm kind of looking forward to it because I know the character, like I've heard of the character before, but at the same time, like, okay, Okay, so Chekov was originally played by Walter Koenig, sorry, from 1967 to 1994. And then in the remake, he was played by Anton Yelchin, which was the 2009 reboot cartoon live action. Why do I keep saying cartoon? Other than this cat being a cartoon character who's bothering the heck out of me. He is one of the few characters that are like, not few characters, like almost every character is a different race, if not a different species. So like Spock is obviously not human. He's part human, part Klingon. But most of the other characters are all human, but they're from all over the world. So I'm now using black on the boots there. Chekov is actually from Russia. Kirk is from America. I forgot to mention that. And Bones, I believe, is also supposed to be from America, like Midwest area. His actual name, like his full name, was Pavel Chekov. Everybody always just knows him as Chekov. He was a navigator, so he sat in front. If you're watching the episodes, you'll have Kirk, who sits in the big swivel chair in the middle. Sometimes Spock sits there. That's the command chair. I'm already on the skin tone. Yeah, Chekov was fairly quick, at least with the basics, because, I mean, look how wide open his body is and everything else. It was very easy to get the base tones done. But so if you're watching the episode, Kirk will usually be in the big swivel chair. Behind him is Ahura, who is the communications officer. I believe they did just release a miniature of her as well, which eventually we'll get to paint. And next to her was usually Spock's station, but in the front you would have the navigators, or the pilots essentially. And so Chekov was usually the pilot on the left-hand side. The one on the right, if I'm not mistaken, was most of the time Sulu. Which, again, I also believe that they released a Sulu miniature. So that's going to be kind of a nice bridge crew, because I know Scotty, who really wasn't part of the bridge crew, but he's coming out. I used some Monster Brown on his hair. There we go. But supposedly he's like the main character in the set for the miniatures. You also have Ahura, sorry. Who was I just talking about? Wow, I'm blanking out on his name now. Sulu. And then I think there was a second female officer that they had in that set. I ordered the set. I just haven't looked at the characters yet. So we'll know as soon as we're done there. Anyway, but he was the permanent, after he was introduced, he was one of the permanent fixture characters in the show. So we're touching up, we're doing the gun, whose grip is black, as well as the little upper piece. I brought this up when I was painting Kirk. The top of the phaser is detachable, so you have like a mini phaser and then the powered up phaser. I guess I really don't know why you have a detachable phaser thing, other than maybe concealment. But yeah, he has a little that little black piece, or what's right now white. It will become black, and that will be the actual phaser. I lost my train of thought, guys. I start rambling sometimes in these videos. I really need to remember to script what I want to say instead of just letting my brain go and just say whatever I want. Let's see. I'm kind of just looking to see if there's any fun information that stands out about him. As mentioned, he was a pilot or a navigator. He was both on the USS Enterprise and the USS Enterprise A. It says here he was navigator, security, and tactical officer. On the A, he was navigator and first officer. Oh, interesting. And then they had him on another ship called the USS Reliant. God, why was that so hard to say? That shouldn't have been that hard. He was the first officer on that ship. Yeah, like I said, guys, he is one of the characters that I actually know the least about, just due to the fact that I haven't gotten that far into the series. Yeah, I know, like, he and Sulu tend to be not really interchangeable, but, like, they're seen together most of the time. Here I go, painting off camera again. I promise I will not get any better at that. Yeah, I'm going to have a camera mounted on the ceiling just so I can be guaranteed I catch everything I paint. So this is going to be the base tone for the floor, which again is some gunmetal mixed with a little bit of wolf gray. I really wish that I could have redone this so I was sure that you were on camera, but I can't, obviously. So you'll just have to bear with me for a little while, guys. Again, I'm doing my best to remember how to paint on video. And right now I have a giant cattail and she's stepping on everything. Okay, bye. Oh boy. Alright, so for the nameplate, all I did was a little bit of plate mail again, just around the entire edging, and then if I get it on the letters, it's not that big of a deal. I'll go back and put the actual coloring on. But Chekov is pretty much done, at least for base coating. I know I said that like twice at this point, but I actually mean it this time. I just have to do the letters, and then we will then we will tone the whole thing. So I go over again. Eventually, I end up going over in electric blue, but right now it's all wolf gray. I felt the wolf gray just doesn't pop enough for the names. So, and there's my dark tone. There's a big glob of it. And then I hope that I waited long enough for everything to dry, and then I just dry brush everything. Or, I guess not really dry brush, and it's not, like, what would you call, it's not painting as much as just coating. I guess I coat the entire thing in the toner. Yeah, I somehow missed the entire upper part of that arm. There we go. And now back to doing the cleanup here. So come on. I didn't realize I sat and mixed paints for like 5 minutes on camera here. Yeah, so I basically put a little too much paint. That's why I'm using my finger to peel off some of it before it dries. I still want to have some of the dark tone kind of pulling up. I basically didn't remove enough of the paint off of my dry brush. But there we go. Next we are going to the boots. Chekov's boots, I honestly don't think I do anything more than just another black tone on it, because it's under his body, so like they're already supposed to be black. To add any coloring to that is like not going to really work, at least aesthetically. It should all be black. And then we switch over and we start on his pants for the necro cloak. Oh, I guess I did a little bit of necrocloak mixed with black just to give it a little bit of a change, which makes sense. Again, it's not enough to really stand out. I kind of could have just skipped that whole step, because once it dries, it just dries black. Like there's nothing to say or do. It is black. I promise it looked actually like a different tone when I was doing it. Not so much now, though, on camera. It's kind of funny. You lose a lot of the subtle differences between camera and actually painting. So now I'm using the necro tone to, or necro cloak to just retouch the spots on the knees and thighs. And then I'm going to go up from there, add a little bit of ash gray to the mix to brighten it all up. And then I struggle through the yellow, which is his shirt. And I do mean struggle. It is not a good time. But right now we're focusing on his pants. I have a cat giving me the death stare right now. It is also getting close to her dinner time, so that is the death stare of you feed me now or I eat you later. So this is ash gray mixed with just a bit of the necrocloak. The main goal is to try and keep that really dark spot where his knees are bent and kind of folding over on themselves, keep that dark as possible, and brightening up everything else, just to really drive home that he's, in a bend. And then I should switch now over to just pure ash gray. Yep, and then I feather out the gray here. There we go, feathering it out. This way it's not as harsh. Wow, on the camera it looks really harsh. On the it's weird. So there are sections where on the camera you can't really tell the difference in the shades. However, on the model you can. And then there are sections like the knee that really looks like I just put the ash gray on and left it, where in real life it is very subtle. It blends in very well. So next I'm doing the nightmare that is the yellow. I don't know why. I've had the worst luck with yellows, trying to blend them together, trying to just make them look presentable. I don't know why this yellow looks so bright, so yellow. The yellow looks yellow. Like it looks neon yellow, you know what I mean? I think it does have a lot to do with the paint being a little thicker than it should be. And the fact that it's just kind of a weird texture that it's got. So, but nonetheless, I end up going over this like 5 or 6 dozen times just to get the nice liquidy, smooth yellow, because you can see I have a lot of these patches right now with the black or the dark tones. Eventually I managed to smooth it all out. I guess my hand was cramping up at that point from holding the model the way I was. But, yep, there we go. So it's getting pretty bright now. So I don't think I talked about this with Kirk. I add some moon dust is the name of the paint to the yellow to make it a little bit less neon, brighter color. I don't know why I choose in the middle of doing the yellow to do the collar on Chekov's shirt again, but I do. Guys, if I could tell you the reason why I do half the painting that I do, I'd be a brilliant artist, but I can't tell you why I do what I do. How I do what I do is just being silly. I jump around quite a bit, as you've probably noticed by now. I jump around on the models, especially when I'm doing the highlights. Because I'll be working on one thing and then I'll be like, you know what, let me just fix this. Well, let me highlight this while I'm using this color paint so I don't have to go back. Oh, let me jump over here now and completely forget what I was working on. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure it's at this point I stop doing yellow and move on to the hands. Yeah, there I go. Again, I don't know, guys. I don't have ADHD, but it feels like I do sometimes when I'm painting. Just kind of going wherever I can and whatever I'm doing, I just like forget. So let's see. Alright, so this is my, again, remember that this is one of the earlier, this is the first one I was testing these paints on with. So I went with a very, very bright coloring on here. I really did not like it. I end up eventually going back and removing, redoing it. I don't think I was recording when I was redoing it because that is just how I do things. I tend to want to fix them and then not remember that I'm supposed to be recording a video with them. But that's, yeah. And then I add just a little bit of the super, super bright on the top there. Basically, that is the lightest light I can get. Now we go on to the face, which for some reason I decided to edit or show it sideways because silly me. Alright. As you can see, his hands are way brighter than his skin tone right now. I do feel like they do all dry relatively balanced. Again, this is me trying to figure out how to use this paint. So this is when I finally start mixing the colors to try and balance it out. Yeah, there we go. Because I go back over the hands now, trying to balance it out. How many times can I say balancing it out before it stops having any meaning? Because I feel like I've said it like a dozen times already in just less than a minute. Oop. I guess I lost some footage there. Oh, yeah, no, I forgot to hit the record button there. That was just me touching up the hair and touching up the skin tone some more. Yeah. I'm bad at this, guys. What can I say? Alright, so last thing I'm doing is just touching up the edge. This first one, I ended up not doing the wolf. I used wolf gray on Chekov's name instead of electric blue. I end up going back later. In fact, I think you'll see that it's the electric blue on the final product. It's just this point I didn't adjust everybody else's names, but there we go. Yeah, you can definitely see. I forgot to show you me putting on the eyes, balancing out the skin tone, and even the hair. Sorry guys. Again, I'm doing my best. But yeah, that would be Chekov. I only have one more character left for this set, and it is Spock. So I'll see you in that one, and then we'll maybe I'll shoot the next 4. Who knows? Till then, guys, run and will. Later.